being dirty once again. The girl cannot help herself at this point. She can't help it. Take a look at this. Okay, you swing at the ball, but then you hit her all in the face with your other hand, and then you put your hands up like you didn't do nothing. You hitting her all in the face. Look at this. Watch her left hand. The right hand right here went to the ball. Watch this left hand. Like, dude, what are you doing? What are you?
Concerns are once again being raised about a WNBA player's pattern of physical, borderline dangerous contact during games. Following a widely criticized hit on Sophie Cunningham, the same player is now facing renewed scrutiny after multiple additional incidents of contact to opponents' heads and faces during recent games.
What are you doing, man? What are you doing? When is enough with this chick? Come on. Come on. You hitting people in the face. It's over and over and over. How many times do we have to witness this with you? How many times? How many people are you just going to hit in the face? Let me freeze right there. It's like every single game you are hitting somebody else in the face.
Critics argue the pattern has become too frequent to dismiss as accidental, calling for stronger disciplinary action, up to and including removal from the league, citing player safety concerns. Slow-motion review of one specific play shows the player appearing to make contact with an opponent's face using her offhand, while simultaneously reaching for the ball with the other, then raising her hands as though no foul occurred.
Every game you're hitting somebody in the face like this, and that wasn't even the worst. Take a look at this play right here. This girl's a menace in the league. I'm telling you, she's a menace. It's unsafe for people to be out there with her. It's unsafe. Let's go here. Now take a look at this. You got Tiffany Hayes driving to the rim. And watch, here goes DIDN Carrington right here. Here goes DIDN Carrington. Watch her.
Commentary highlights this as part of a repeated pattern rather than an isolated incident, noting that similar plays have occurred across multiple games and opponents. A separate clip shows the player making contact with another opposing player during a drive to the basket, despite not appearing to be near the ball at the time of contact.
You're nowhere near the ball, dude. You are nowhere near the fucking ball. Like, stop. Can we stop with this? Can we stop with this already? Enough's enough. You are not some 6'8", 7-foot shot blocker. You're running around hitting multiple people upside the head. Enough is enough, bro. Stop it, man. This girl is a menace to the league.
Critics argue this kind of positioning, far from any realistic defensive play on the ball, undermines any claim of the contact being incidental, especially given it reportedly happened more than once within the same game. Reaction from sports commentator Jason Whitlock echoed these sentiments, publicly calling for the player's removal from the league across multiple posts responding to the incidents.
You're nowhere near the ball. You are, where's your hand? And the ball is all the way over here. You did this more than once in a single game today. Enough is enough. Get this chick out of here, man. Get this chick out of here. Like, enough's enough. Come on, man. At some point, you got to put a stop to this.
Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy also weighed in, initially suggesting the on-court reaction to the play itself was understandable, but taking issue with the player's subsequent decision to post about white privilege on social media following her ejection, a comment he described as an unnecessary and inflammatory escalation. He criticized certain sports media outlets for focusing coverage on whether the ejection call was correct, while largely ignoring the social media comment itself, arguing that omission became the actual story.
Is like she is become a menace to the league. And even Jason Whitlock saw it and he said, out of the league. Get her out. Get her out. Get her out of the league. Look at her. Get this woman. This is two separate clips he's responded to. He said, get this woman out of basketball. Get her out of here, man. It's freaking ridiculous. It's disgusting.
Portnoy compiled additional clips he argues demonstrate a broader pattern of rough play from this player, including an incident involving contact near Caitlin Clark's eyes that he characterized as intentional and troubling, as well as an incident involving another player being pulled by her ponytail while airborne during a play. He argued these incidents, taken together, paint a picture of a player with a documented history of dangerous contact, unrelated to race or identity, and compared the situation to another player previously exiting the league under similar conduct concerns.
Let's get to what Dave Portnoy had to say here on Barstool in response to DIDN Carrington. Okay, because he blasted. Not only did he blast Stephanie White, he blasted DIDN Carrington as well. Let's get into it.
In the WNBA, this is a totally fine reaction, I think, to a play like that. And maybe the story ends there if Carrington doesn't go to the locker room, pick up her phone, and tweet white privilege, which is insane, and absolutely insane.
He further argued that framing criticism of the player's on-court conduct as racially or politically motivated actually originated from the player's own social media response, not from outside commentary. He contrasted this with a separate
thing to say. Now, if you go watch other networks, I'm not going to say it on Fox, but ESPN's filled with absolute morons. Absolutely have a
Oh my God, yo, he's not playing.
All of morons sitting there discussing this play and talking about whether it was the right call and things of that nature. And they don't even mention the fact that she said white privilege. That is the story. The story.
He maintained that acknowledging a clearly reckless play is separate from any broader cultural narrative, and that introducing race into the conversation via social media undercut the player's own defense. Overall, the consensus expressed is that the player in question has developed a troubling reputation for dangerous physical plays, and continued incidents warrant serious league intervention.
After driving me around the Kremlin, and they were like, "Do you know who lives here?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I know." They were like, "Our leader lives here." And I'm like, "Jesus, get me out of this brainwashed car." When we went to this is the part where she thinks it's going to be shot down. When we get to the airport, I get on that plane, I was worried someone might shoot the plane down. It wouldn't be the first time. Really? When's the last time your plane was shot down? I knew I wouldn't feel safe until wheels were on the U.S. soil. Now, I don't blame her for that.
Viewers are invited to share their thoughts in the comments. Brittany Griner has pushed back on characterizations of her as anti-American, a label that followed her decision not to stand for the national anthem in past seasons.
Soil. Now, I don't blame her for that. I don't blame her for feeling that way, but you got to understand something. There's nobody other than woke America that gives a rat's you-know-what about Brittany Griner. Now, woke America does because she's a black LGBT lesbian basketball player. So woke America does. But I got to tell you, Biden gave in. The merchant of death, or the worst human being alive, got traded for this women's lesbian basketball player.
In recent comments, Griner described details of her detention in Russia, including being driven past the Kremlin by officials and being told who lived there. She said she felt uneasy throughout the experience and was anxious during her eventual flight out of the country, saying she didn't feel fully safe until the plane carrying her had landed on U.S.
The worst human being alive got traded for this women's lesbian basketball player. The Kremlin, or wherever, didn't give a rat's ass about some, what was I going to say? About some nondescript basketball player. They cared about the mass murdering dude. They cared about getting their guy back, like a real dude. So why shoot? Why even care about Brittany Griner's plane? Biden, in his
soil,
Brittany Griner's plane. Biden, in all of his stupidity, wasn't smart enough to make a decent deal. Get both he and the the current soldier that's been standing or sitting in jail far longer than Griner. Biden gave in. And you think Putin and those clowns gave a damn about Brittany Griner? No. You think anybody in the United States gives a damn about Brittany Griner other than her family, other than woke America's LGBTQ community? And Brittany Griner's like,
Griner was released in December.
LGBTQ community, and Brittany Griner's like, everybody else. Nobody really cares. So her self-awareness here, while I understand it, man, you ain't that important, sister. Certainly you're not that important once Biden made the ridiculous deal to get one of the most dangerous criminals in the world out of our jail and back in the hands of Russia. But I don't blame her. She says the weirdest thing for me, and I don't know why this would be considered weird if you have any brain at all. Maybe Brittany Griner doesn't.
The exchange drew mixed public reaction at the time, with some criticizing the terms of the deal and others viewing Griner's release as a necessary outcome.
Considered weird if you have any brain at all. Maybe Brittany Griner doesn't. Was being labeled anti-American or non-American. Well, I mean, let me straighten it out for you. When you kneel and you don't want to, and you want to disrespect the flag, it shouldn't be that weird. Now, I get it. People like Griner are stupid. So they say things like, well, the weirdest thing. No, it's not that weird. I mean, look, if you had any kind of pulse on the world, on America, people that were going in, not standing for the flag, were going to be considered.
Griner has said she finds it strange to be labeled anti-American, given her history.
In America, people that were going in, not standing for the flag, were going to be considered anti-American. That one kind of irritates me the most, honestly, because my dad was a legit Marine. What's a non-legit Marine? Vietnam, 68 to 69. He fought for our country, went into law enforcement for 30-plus years. That I would understand. I wish Brittany Griner had let people know this before. I wish, for her sake, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. In fact, I was one of the first people that called for Brittany Griner to be released once I...
In discussing her past decision not to stand for the anthem, she has drawn comparisons to the treatment of Vietnam veterans who were sometimes met with hostility upon returning home, noting her father's own service as a Marine in Vietnam and his subsequent decades-long career in law enforcement.
Doesn't matter to me. In fact, I was one of the first people that called for Brittany Griner to be released once I realized she was still in there. I don't give a damn what the public perception is of Brittany Griner, but for her sake, she kind of sort of should have made it more public. When she was kneeling or walking out on the flag or whatever she was doing, it would have been nice for her to have made this public. Look, my father was a Vietnam vet. Maybe, just maybe, part of Brittany Griner's anti-American stance, if that's what you want to call it, stems from the way Vietnam vets were treated when they came back from...
Griner has recently been promoting a book detailing her experiences.